Hi, everybody. Erica here from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I've been here before, but I haven't been here for a week. I was over on the East Coast visiting family. I got emails from many of you expressing concern as to my whereabouts because you'd not seen me on this platform or on my other platform, which is Substack. But I did say I was going away for a week. But I am back and happy to be here. Thank you for your kind concern. And, maybe next time I'll take you with me so that you don't have to experience that feeling of abandonment. So I'm going to do quickly what I normally do on Mondays, which is to remind you of what I do on this channel. So this is a channel where I use a European card system, 36 card system. It's from the late 1700s, early 1800s, called Lenormand. However you want to pronounce it is fine, doesn't matter. But it is a card system that I use to divine, um, to predict and comment on issues of importance. And I deal with politics, race, culture, etc. here. I also have a book that I wrote so that you can learn how to read Lenormand the way that I read it. It's called The Language of Lenormand or Lenormand, however you want to pronounce it. The Language of, and I was a teacher for 30 years. So I know how to present material in a way that is that makes it comprehensible. So that's available, as they say, wherever books are sold. It's I think number 10 now in Kindle purchases. It's available as you see, soft cover, also Kindle, also audiobook as well. Um, but it's doing really well, and people seem to like it. If you prefer to read it in French, you can. There's a French version. It's called Découvrez le langage secret du Lenormand, which means discover the secret language of Lenormand. So those resources are available to you. In addition, I have a deck that is my own. I worked with an artist from sort of conception through each card. She gave me exactly what I asked for. Her name is also Erica with a C, the artist. But this deck is called Erica's Lenormand of Hope. It is available through La Panthère, like the panther, but French. La Panthère Studio. The links for the books and the deck are under every video, so you can find them there. The third resource that I have for you is a course that I have put up. This is self-taught, meaning I put up a bunch of videos. They're pre-recorded so that you can learn at your own speed on your own time, if that's the mode of learning that you prefer. And I also am planning on starting a live class that'll probably start in October and run for 5 weeks, probably 2 hours per session, once a week for 5 weeks. And that way you can learn in real time, live with me, practice with your classmates. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, more on that at a later date. So, uh, I wrote my Substack. So if you follow me over on Substack, the article has just gone up. So feel free to go over there and read that. Um, I didn't keep, as I mentioned in my Substack, as close an eye on the news as I normally would because, I was on vacation. But I kept a close enough eye to know generally what's going on and have sort of caught up in between jet lag. And so there's a few things that I thought I would look at. I'll probably come on tomorrow and maybe take some of your questions. These will not be personal questions, but questions that you have that you'd like me to look at that are of interest to all of us. So I may do that tomorrow. But just a few today. This is, a proof of life video. I'm here. I'm here for the duration. I'm here till the wheels fall off. My goal in this channel, on this channel, was twofold originally, and my goal really remains the same. One was to um, show you what divination can do. And again, through Lenormand, sometimes I use tarot. I read tarot as well, just to show you what's possible in terms of how we can dialogue with the universe. And then the other was to sort of hopefully give you some support as we all navigate these difficult political times. So that's been my intention. That's been my goal. You all have been terrific. I read all the comments. I may not comment very much because it's just so many, but I read all of your comments and really appreciate them, both here, over here, and also on Substack. So thank you. Please do like, share, subscribe. I would love to see the channel grow. Um, so help me out with that. That would be great. Okay, the first thing I wanted to look at was the situation on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Of course, that's a ship that's been deployed. The deployment has been extended indefinitely. Generally, sailors know when their deployment starts and they have an idea of when the date certain is that it's going to end. And if a deployment gets extended, usually the extension is also a finite date. Oh, we're going to extend it for another 5 months or whatever it is. But this deployment has been extended indefinitely. So that's strike one. Strike two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 are the fact that, um, let's see, what the troops have no idea what their mission is. That's not been made clear. Oh, see, I put my thumb up, and so now they did the little emoji thing. Okay, I have to remember not to do that. So they don't know what their purpose is. What is their mission? I mean, that's like anything, right? If you want to work towards a goal, well, what's the goal? Otherwise, how do you work towards it? So that's a problem. Um, More urgently, of course, is the fact that they are short on supplies. And when I say short, I mean really short. Like bathrooms don't work. The food is insufficient. There was a sailor who said this was their meal, uh, a tortilla and a cup of rice. How are you supposed to do heavy labor with that as your meal? They can't buy things from the commissary, from the ship store, because the ship store doesn't have anything. So they're hungry, they're exhausted because they're probably working like triple shifts. Um, Someone tried to jump overboard. There may be more than just one who tried to jump overboard. People's parents, sailors' parents, and spouses, as you can imagine, are very concerned about this, and their concern has been met with, I don't know, derision on one hand, and sort of just disregard on the other. Uh, Accusations that they don't really know what's going on, that it's not really true, that the ship is well stocked and everyone is well fed and well slept and everything, and none of that apparently is true. So I guess the first thing I want to look at is how are things going on that ship? And we do have a ship card. It's number 3 in the Lenormand deck. So that's the card I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to look for the ship. And I want to hear from the universe, from spirit, how are things going on that ship? Okay. I just flip cards until I get to the card that I'm looking for. And generally that will be in the middle of the spread, assuming that the card is not at the beginning or the end of the deck. Okay, it's towards the end, but not all the way. So this stands for the USS Abraham Lincoln. Okay. So we have the star, we have the moon, we have the ship, the USS Abraham Lincoln, we have the stork, and we have the mice. So, first off, the star is the card for the future and hope and all the rest of it. The moon is the card for reputation and image. And it's very, uh, the image of the military and what's gone on in the ship, uh, as pertains to how we are taking care of these sailors, it's not good. So, but this isn't saying that one way or the other, but we have the ship in the middle. Here we are, they're trying to give a happy spin on things. This is the spin. Um, and a happy thing, everything's fine, nothing to see here. Things are really good. It's great. Things are improving, etc. But the last card is the one that tells the tale, and it's the mice. So there is a lot that is lacking on that ship. They don't have enough. There's not enough food. There are not enough personal hygiene supplies. There's not enough mental health and health um, help for these sailors. The morale is very bad. Everything has been eroded. So I'm going to pull some cards on that on that mice card. So again, this is a card of lack. So this is not hyperbole. Nobody's exaggerating how bad things are. Things are bad. And it is weighing everything down, weighing them down, weighing the military down. Everything's being weighed down. Emotions, vicious emotions, emotions are high. And I mean, I'm just going to say, uh, hate to use the word, but there are sailors who are feeling mutinous. That would be the crossroads card. Now, why is that the crossroads card? Because they're supposed to be on this straight and narrow, but some of them are trying to jump ship. They are complaining to their families, and they are feeling like they want to go that way instead of that way. To me, that's mutiny. Um, so, and I'm going to pull cards directly under the ship. So here we have the ship, and we have birds, tree, and bear. So this is the ship. This is all of the talk that's going on the ship, but also amongst the public, meaning the families and all the rest of us. There's a lot of talk about the health and welfare of this ship and its sailors. But the message is being squished, bulldozed, overridden, all of that by Hegseth and by the felon himself. Like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Things are great. Everything's fine. Provisions are provided, all of that. So, you know, I don't think that's going to go very well, particularly with this card here. I can mirror this mutiny card with the star. If things don't improve fast, quick, fast, and in a hurry, as they say, there will be problems. And I think that these problems will not be limited to the USS Abraham Lincoln. Um, other branches, other service people are watching all of this. And if you don't have your military behind you, well, and remember, we have a volunteer military, and people go into the military for all kinds of reasons. They want to have their educations paid for, they want to see the world, or they think that it's a patriotic thing to join the military, or they come from a military family, or, there are myriad reasons why. But if this is how they're treated, why would anybody sign up? Which of course could push us towards uh, towards a draft. I mean, hopefully not, but things seem to be not good on that ship. I want to know, so moving forward, hmm, what message will the military writ large send to this administration? So I think I'm going to use the rider because that's the card for a message. What message will the military be sending to the administration moving forward? So again, we're looking for the rider. So that's the rider. We have anchor, we have young man, we have rider, lily, and clover. I think the message is going to be that the troops, all of them, male, female, etc., all feel weighted down with this oppressive situation, right? Weighted down. We have the rider in the middle, so the message that they will want to send is that um, peace, ease, uh, better conditions need to be established quick, fast, and in a hurry, or there's going to be a problem. I'm going to pull some clarifiers from the rider and also from the clover. Okay. So from the rider, we get the house, the ring, and the book. So, the message is White House, you are supposed to make good on this. We're doing our job. We're keeping our end of the bargain. You need to keep your end of the bargain, which is that you keep us fed, housed, clothed, um, munitioned, and healthy. And you act like you don't know what you're doing because you don't. It seems that the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. And again, this is the card for quick, hurry up, fix this fast. And the clarifiers are the whip, star again, and oh, look, the felon. Um, the felon loves to say how much people love him and my military, etc. But looks like moving forward, if they don't fix things quick, fast, and in a hurry, that worm is going to turn. This is the card for dissension, strife, angry words, fights breaking out, that kind of thing. And the person that they will blame will be you know who. So again, I think that what is also telling, aside from that line, is this book, which you and I know that books hold information, but in the system of Lenormand, the book is about things that we don't know. They don't know how to fix this problem. They don't know where they're supposed to get the munitions, the food, the this, the that, the other to these people. They're inept, I guess is what I'm trying to say. which is what happens when you have a Fox News guy as head of the military who only served in the reserves. Oh, and not to mention a commander in chief who got out of serving in the military because of bad feet. So this is not a good situation and it will probably only escalate. Okay, the next thing I wanted to look at is the fact that even though a judge has said the ballroom building needs to stop, the felon is taking it to the Supreme Court. Bear in mind, the Supreme Court is not in session. It will not come back into session until October, I think, the beginning of October. But at any rate, the felon would like the Supreme Court to overrule this judge on the ballroom. So I want to know, what will the Supreme Court rule in regard to the ballroom, which would be replacing the destroyed East Wing of the White House. That, by the way, he had no authority to destroy a wing of the people's house. So my card for the Supreme Court is the birds, and that's because birds is about talking, conversation, groups, meetings, that kind of thing. So that's my card for the Supreme Court. So what will they rule? Will they say we're not going to take the case because that lower court judge ruled and that's the decision, and so there it is? Or will they take up the case? So let's see what we get. We're looking for the birds that will stand for the Supreme Court. The question that they're being asked is to do with the ballroom. Okay, that's the Supreme Court. Okay, we have the book, the man, the birds, the moon, and the young woman. And then I drew clarifiers on the young woman. So remember, the book is about things we don't know, right? But the card next to it is you know who. So he doesn't know how they're going to rule. We know that he knows how he wants them to rule, but he really doesn't know how they'll rule. Um, I think that they will choose to be yin about this, meaning they'll say, no, that judge ruled and we're not going to weigh in on this. This is the card for reputation, but this is a yin card, and I feel like they're not going to want to take a stand on it. The clarifiers, I drew clarifiers on the young woman. We have the mountain, the clouds, and the ring, which tells me that they will keep that lower court judge's ruling in place and block continued um, building on that ballroom. So again, this is something we won't know uh, for a while because again, they don't come back till October. But the nerve of him asking, you know, uh, also he would like the lower court's ruling on mail-in voting to be vacated. So we're going to look again for the birds, but this time it's on mail-in voting. Will the Supreme Court overturn the lower court ruling on mail-in voting. The lower court ruling was to allow mail-in voting. I'm sitting on a ball and it's kind of, so that's why I'm moving around a lot. Um, Supposed to be good for your posture. Okay, so we're looking at the mail-in voting. Okay. Will mail-in voting still be in place, continue to be a thing? We're looking for the birds, which is the Supreme Court, or will the Supreme Court give the felon what he wants, which is to have it overturned? So again, this is the Supreme Court. Okay. You have fox, whip, birds, tower, and clouds. And then I pull clarifiers on these clouds. So they will look at the matter very closely, Fox. There will be a lot of arguing on the court, which makes me think it might be a close decision. There'll be a lot of arguing back and forth. This is the court. But in the end, I think the lower court will prevail. Now, the last card is clouds. This is a card for doubt, but it's also, I don't know, I drew clarifiers on it. We've got stork, cross, and coffin. So I think that the clouds will dissipate and the position of the court will be clear, and that this attempt to end um, mail-in voting will be thwarted, will be put to bed, will be what, 86th? Yeah. So mail-in voting will still be a thing. So that's good news. Uh, Further, there's a lawsuit that's been brought against the felon. You know, that thing about how he's going to sell, you know, how he tweets or truths, that so that if you want to get in on that and know what he's going to tweet, or truth, minutes before everybody else does, if you pay $100,000 as an entity, you can get that information earlier than everybody else. Um, Apparently, 10 companies have already said, sign me up. Uh, so there's a lawsuit because, I mean, how is this not grift? Uh, will the, let's see, how will the lawsuit against the felon selling the timing of his tweets, how will that lawsuit go? So I think what I want to use for a lawsuit, hmm, it's a court case, right? So I think I'm going to use the tower, and that will stand for the court case. How will that court case go? Will he be allowed to sell that information? It's kind of like insider trading, I guess is the best way to, the best analogy. Okay, so we're going to look for the tower. That will stand for um, the court. What will the court decide? This is not the Supreme Court, of course. This is a lawsuit that's been brought. So this is the court of law. Okay, so clearly, what he wants to do is um, be get money, be awarded money for giving people insider information about what it is he's going to tweet or truth or whatever you want to call it. He wants to reap. Remember, I always say that the scythe, it does have a blade, but the blade is curved. So here he wants to pull in money in this way that seems patently illegal. But anyway, uh, this is the court case. And then we've got the moon and the tree. You know what? Like every court case involving him, there will be delay after delay after delay after delay after delay. And I think it's interesting that they show me that, but no definitive outcome, which makes me wonder why that would be. So here's the court case clarifiers of the book, the house, and the rider. I think that there will be continuance after continuance after continuance, and that who knows, by the time it actually gets on the docket, and moves forward, who knows who's going to be in the White House then? So I think that's the message is it'll be continued, continued, continued. And by the time they're ready to get around to things, I don't know that certain people will be in the White House anymore. So that's interesting. Okay. Uh, two more things. One is just the Texas race. It's very interesting how close that Senate race is. We're talking about the race between Democrat Tallarico and Republican Paxton. There is only 1 point separating them in the polls, and it's Tallarico 1 point ahead. I'm sorry, the last poll I saw was Paxton, 1 point ahead of Tallarico, which really says a lot about Texas. Because Ken Paxton's a pretty corrupt guy, entertainment purposes only, and allegedly. So who will if the race were run today? I know what I just said about the polls, but maybe again because things are mutable, right? The election's not till November, but let's just look at how things stand now. Who will win the Senate race for Texas in November? So I'm going to pull 3 cards for Tallarico and 3 cards for Paxton. Really interesting. For Tallarico, I get the snake, the mice, and the whip. So we know that there will be some funny business that takes place in the polling places or in the counting or however it is. This is just people being up to no good as they count the vote, which does not bode well for Tallarico. Then we have Paxton with the mountain, the anchor, and the rider. It's been an uphill battle for Paxton, but it looks like he may uh, be able to win the day. And I always say, if you don't like what you see, if you're from Texas, you can change the trajectory here, right? Get out the vote, make a plan for how you're going to vote, um, give money to the candidate of your choice. But they're going to make it very difficult for Tallarico, it looks like. So that's it for today. Again, mostly proof of life video. Happy to see you. And I think tomorrow I will come on and I will take your questions. It'll be live. Not sure what time, but as soon as I decide, I will put that notification up. Okay, take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.